I'm Deborah Dahab, your expat coach and intercultural psychologist. I help people prepare for a move abroad and also help them adjust once they moved. So today I'm going to give you some tips and ideas on how to integrate into a new country. And this is a topic that many of my clients ask me, and many people like, oh, I want to integrate. How do I do that? What's the best way? So first, I want to think about and invite you to think about, what does integration mean to you? It's a term that can mean different things for different people. So this is something that I really encourage you to think about. In the intercultural psychology literature, I'm an intercultural psychologist. I did my master's in intercultural psychology, specifically looking at IRM, which stands for International Retired Migrants. And in this literature, integration is one of the strategies of acculturation. I won't give you a lecture on that, but I really think it's important to establish the meaning of integration for you, and I'm sharing what exists in the literature, in the social psychology literature. So integration, as coined by John Barry, I'll include the link for your reference in the description box. What he says through his studies is that integration is the strategy, the acculturation strategy, where people have kind of like a balanced way of interacting with the new culture and, having contact and participating in the new culture, while also keeping and maintaining parts of their identity with their original culture. So in a nutshell, that's it. If you want to read more about this, I will include some links in the description box. I find this super fascinating. If you do too, go ahead and check out the literature. So basically, that's what it is. It's a balanced approach of, embracing the new while keeping what maintaining your original identity. Some people mean integration by what in the literature is assimilation. And assimilation is a strategy that people embrace completely the new culture and don't keep almost anything regarding their cultural identity. How does this manifest? For example, someone that completely speaks the new language in their home with their family. So let's say you were born in, just for an example, you were born in the US. You move to a Spanish-speaking country, and you start speaking Spanish in your household. You don't speak English anymore. You speak Spanish with your family. That is an example of assimilation. So many people use these terms interchangeably. In the literature, they are separate. I just wanted to put that out there just so you know. So it's really important to really take into account what integration means for you. And that said, here's some tips on how you can start integrating with the new country. Before making any changes, the first tip I would say is observe, because some changes might not be good for you. For example, in some countries, people have dinner very late. I remember when I lived in Spain, people would have dinner like 11 o'clock at night. I didn't do that unless I was going out or in specific situations. But in my daily life, I kept my dinners at 8-ish, because I needed to wake up very early, and if I had dinner late, I would go to bed late, then I would be tired. So just because you're in a country doesn't mean necessarily that you have to embrace every single habit and new way of doing things. And that leads me to tip number 2, which is know your boundaries. Know what works for you and what doesn't work for you. Some things you will have to adjust because that's just the way things are done, but other things you can choose. And when you can choose, if it doesn't make sense for you, it doesn't work for you, just don't do it. Like, I didn't change my dinner time to 11 p.m., even though, other households in Spain were doing that. I just didn't, because it didn't feel right for me. It didn't work with my rhythm. That said, tip number 3 is respect your values. And what does this mean? It has to do with tip number 2, but it's a little bit different. So sometimes there are certain things. I'm not going to give you an example. In some countries, cutting in line, let's say you're going to the movies and you find there's someone up front in the line and is a friend of yours. It's like, oh, hi, how are you? And you legitimately, you didn't, you meet them by accident and they say, oh, come in, don't go back there. Come in here in line with me. In some cultures, that's totally okay. No one will care. Yeah, whatever. In other cultures, that's a huge offense. That's like dishonest. So really, if that's something that goes against your values and this person tells you like, oh yeah, you can come in line, there's no problem, but you feel icky about that, that doesn't, resonate with you, that's not aligned with your values, don't do it. If you can't avoid it, don't do it. Because the more we change to things that are not aligned with our core values, we start to feel an internal dissonance and we start to feel unhappy. Sometimes we don't even know why. So really be mindful of things that you are changing or adjusting and that don't feel right. So these are some tips in a nutshell. This is one of the ways you can go about how to integrate in a new country. And I hope this was helpful. If this resonates with you, if you'd like to get to the next step, feel free to schedule a free enrollment call and join us in the Master Your Move group coaching program for pre-movers. It's a great program. I'd love to tell you more about it. You can click the links in the description box. I'll include them in the description box. You can take a look at the page with the description, testimonials, and book a free call to see if the program is a good fit for you. And remember to like, subscribe, and comment. I'd love to hear what you want me to talk about next. And I'll see you next time.